So back to what I was saying. What I was saying.
What's up, friends, family, and fans? It's your boy, Stone Stafford, and I'm rocking with my homie. This is where he says his name.
Is it me or him? So when is it Johnny? It's Johnny Vaughn. My bad. Okay.
So we are on episode 149, which means we've done this 149 times.
No, it's one of these things,
and then suddenly I'm just going to break script.
But that's the thing. You know, when you get in the room with the homies, and you know the homies been homies longer than y'all been homies, you step back because you don't know your place.
See, that's you.
So I didn't know who you was talking about.
You devalued yourself right there.
Exactly. You exactly.
But
right.
I didn't devalue you though.
Man, I'm just man. It's Johnny Vaughn, bro. What's going on?
Yo, welcome to our next installment of our Come Up series. And today we are with ATL music veteran and legend Ian Burke.
Yo.
Yes, and I also did the...
Make sure you catch that pause.
I also did the theme song for Life in the Light, which I'm about to perform for you right now. Life in the Light podcast.
All right, so his credibility just went down. So we're going to have to work on that from scratch now. What's up, Ian?
What up?
Man, so good to have you here, bro. It's been a long time coming. I know a while ago I said we're going to have you on here, but just to be...
I've been on it before. Why you act
as
like
a guest?
Yes.
Yeah, he was on like episode 2, bro.
So we did do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Now it's time for me to go. It's
Right.
like,
What it was is because we actually had a topic.
Yeah,
it
we
wasn't an
were just
episode
talking.
featuring
It
you.
wasn't featuring.
Yeah, we
had a
were
conversation. Facing a different
Yeah, I
way, and
remember.
the
Yeah,
room
yeah.
was
I
set
was
up
that
different.
way. I was on that side.
Yeah, no, I do remember.
And we
Y'all
was
make
just
sure you
talking.
go check that as one of our earlier episodes, like episode 3, 4,
It was
or
like
5.
2 or 3. It
Yeah,
was
something like
super
that.
early.
So y'all check that out. I forgot what we were talking about on that episode, but it was good. But anyway,
It
this
was
one,
good. It was good.
We're focusing on Ian's come up. Ian F. Burke. The F stands for Francis. I just busted you out. So this is what you guys need to understand from jump. First of all, before we get started, if you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and share this with some friends. If you listen to several of these, you already know that we the real deal. We got some real good stuff. That love and self-love and self-discipline one was on fire. Your boy got crucified.
Yeah.
But it was good because I'm always open to learn. I'm always teachable and always open to accept other people's opinions and stuff. So, yeah. So you haven't checked out.
He went on a long time with that. Who you trying to convince? You trying to convince me or yourself or the people?
No
that you...
one. I do. Okay. It was good.
It was good because I self-love all the time.
That's a whole nother. So I'm glad you said that. So now you hit that like and subscribe. First of all, thank you very much. You need to know a little bit of backstory so you'll understand some of the questions that come forth. So Ian and I go back well over
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long 30 freaking years. So
hence why Johnny took a step back because he wasn't sure where he was at the table. That's why I did that.
He's not letting it go.
That's why I did that.
So in those 30 years, you really get to know someone. And during those 30 years, Ian has literally got me jobs. We'll talk about that. Ian has actually lived with us. So we're family. We are legit family. Everything from the fallouts to the fights to the love, every part of it is family. So I get to ask. I have carte blanche to ask a lot of questions. A lot of people haven't really earned the right to ask. So we're going to get real dirty. But the beautiful thing is, the good, bad, the ugly, all of it, you guys are going to be able to draw something from it because this man has so much freaking just industry and life experience. As long as whatever he's open to share, it's going to help you and help you be a whole lot better. So what up, Ian Burke?
What's happening?
Thanks for joining us today, man.
Absolutely. Early Friday morning.
Right. That's a task all in of itself.
That's a job.
I was on the plane when Stone hit me. He was like, yo, we're going to do a 10:45. I was like, no.
I have to say
What
that.
we doing?
Yeah.
I was hot.
So Ian Burke, point number 1. Whenever you want to meet with Ian, you must tell him 15 to 30 minutes earlier. Am I lying? Can we be honest?
No, absolutely.
We already committed that we're going to be honest.
Yeah. You have to because I will show up. And I actually told him, I'll be there at 11:30.
They did. And then crucified us when we weren't ready at 10:45.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. So let me ask you a question on that then. What is the deal with people that have a hard time being on time? Obviously, you're not the only person. I have a couple people in my life. I just met up with a friend, and we hadn't talked to each other in probably over a year and a half, 2 years. I said, let's meet up for lunch. Said, yeah, definitely. And I gave the time. And I was like, I wonder if I should have given early time. But I'm in my own growth where I'm really accepting people for who they are and where they are and not being judgmental and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what, Stone? it's been a long time. She could have gotten all that crap together. Don't assume that she's still going to be late. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right. And this is why it's been so hard for me to change, because at the end of the day, 8.5 out of 10, I'm usually right. So then you love that. I know that irked Johnny so much.
It did, because people still be right about you too.
There's that laugh again. Did you get that laugh?
I heard
There's
it
that laugh again. Oh my gosh. So Ian, do you have an explanation on like people who are chronically late and they say they don't mean to be and don't want to be, but they're always late?
I'm a professional procrastinator. It's like, I get up and look at the clock, and I got up at 8 o'clock this morning. I got up and said, okay, I got 15 more minutes, and I won't go back to sleep. I'll just lay there. Thinking, pondering about my day. Next thing you know is 8:30. I was like, oh man, let me check my social media and my emails, and I grab my phone, and that's an hour already. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, now I got to jump in the shower because I just have to jump in the shower, get myself freshened up.
He's been loving himself all night.
Yeah, exactly. From the self-love. And
so gross. That is just the visualization on that is freaking scarring.
So then, you just jump in the car. I looked at the time and I was like, yeah, I can get there in 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
So your goal is to, quote unquote, be on time.
To be on time, not to be early. And that's part of my problem too. Because it's best for me to leave early so I could be there early because I know I'm going to be on time. I won't be late. But if I shoot for being on time, I usually end up being late.
Ladies and gentlemen, life-changing lesson number 1. At Morehouse, they told us to be on time is to be late. Mm-hmm. We were always taught to always have a pen and be 15 minutes early.
I had a conversation with Micah this morning. Micah was like, why are we leaving at 7:15? Dad, Mom doesn't let us. We don't leave until 7:25. And I sat him there right and I was like, listen, when you get to school 10 minutes before school starts, you have to rush up the stairs. You're running or walking fast to class. And then as soon as you sit in your desk, you got to start. As opposed to you get somewhere 20 minutes early, you have a cup of coffee or orange juice in his case, talk to some of your friends, you ease into your day.
Right.
When you ease into what you're going to, you're a lot less stressed as opposed to moving into it in a heightened rush sense. And now everything you're doing for the rest of the day is based off of some stress level. However,
okay,
my bad. I'm gonna jump on that. But it's also been scientifically proven because I too am a professional procrastinator. However, I've shifted my procrastination back 45 minutes to account for my lateness.
So would that be considered procrastination then?
I call it planned procrastination. Right. So this is planned procrastination. No, there are some people who's and this goes to you just are how you are. Some creative minds are literally just wired that way to where you produce your best output under pressure, and we subconsciously create that time.
I was just going to say that. Were you going to say something?
Yes,
no, I was gonna. I'm agreeing with everything he says. Like, I do my best work when I'm under pressure,
and that's the thing. And that's actually a little bit of a fugazi, right? Because I was always what I call the 11th hour guy, especially in school. Right? You did the paper the night before, and you got an A, and that's actually a bit of a fugazi because it makes you think, oh, I perform best under pressure and stuff like that. But believe it or not, that pressure, even biologically, is just not good for you. Like Johnny is teaching his son Micah it all comes down to preparation. At the end of the day, it's all preparation. Arriving early, believe it or not, is preparation. You're preparing your mind, you're preparing your energy for what it is you're about to do instead of rushing. And especially if you live in Atlanta or any kind of traffic city, you can't plan for what's going to happen. There's going to be a truck somewhere. There's going to be, I hate to say it, an accident somewhere. There's going to be someone who's not in a rush and can care less that you are, just chilling. So, look, it's just let that be something you guys can work on. So, anyway, we talked about the procrastination. So, where are you from? Like, kind of just in the big window, like, where are you from? And what was your first foray into the music industry? Like, when did that first come into your life? And what were you doing before that happened?
All right. I'm originally from Mount Vernon, New York. Born and raised. I came here to Atlanta to escape moving to Florida with my newly retired parents.
So you didn't want to live with your parents?
I didn't want to move to Florida. Living with my parents
what did you have
was
against
good.
Florida?
Oh my goodness, the
And
property.
like be real about it.
No,
like,
no, no,
really
no.
dig into Florida. Like
Well,
I want to
no,
hear what you didn't like about
Wait a
Florida.
minute, what we not going to do? What we not going to do is come up here and start acting crazy on the gunshot state. You're not going to do that, okay? You're going to pump your brakes.
Shots
player.
fired. Shots fired.
Pump your brakes.
If y'all don't know
was
by
really-
now, we got Mr. Duval County over here.
I was in what I can't even remember in Fort Myers, which is what county? Do you know? Fort Myers, Florida. Well, back then when they were just moving there, it was a jungle swamp.
Yep.
You know, they showed. We drove in. We were on a dirt road, and they said that's where our house is gonna be. And it's trees.
they built?
Yeah, they
Oh,
built.
nice.
You know, it
But
was.
yeah, I mean, once
trees
Mickey
and
Mouse moved in down there, like, they cleared
forestation.
all that stuff out and turned it into.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not coming here. No, y'all build and family house on the prairie, whatever it is.
It was
that
just
y'all
too
wanna
swampy
do. It
looking?
was
Yeah.
too swampy looking, and I
And
didn't
coming from
wanna-
the city, well, Mount Vernon's not really the city, but
But it's close enough. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we're right next door to the Bronx. I could
Right.
walk to the Bronx.
no,
from
you're
Mount
right.
Vernon.
No, you're right. You're right.
So I'm not used to that. I love the country, but that was too country. That was Amazon, and I didn't want to go
gotta
there.
add
Well,
the
big shout out to Money Earning Mount Vernon,
Yes.
Heavy D and the boys,
Absolutely.
and the rest of y'all.
Yeah, we all went to school together.
Yeah.
Eric McCain, B Smooth, comedian B Smooth. We
Mm-hmm.
all graduated together.
Nice.
Yeah, you know B Smooth from your
I
favorite
do
show.
know B Smooth. Heck,
From
JB
your
Smooth.
favorite- JB Smooth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we all graduated.
Shout out to JB Smooth and that Curb Your Enthusiasm. If y'all not up on that show, yo, you need to check it out on HBO. Free plug. I'm gonna stop
There it
doing
is,
those.
right.
But go ahead.
So, yeah, I came down to study computers at DeVry, Computer Information Systems.
You know, I can see that. I can't see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I so can't see it now, and we'll explain. Actually, in case I forget, the most. Again, y'all, I've earned the right to talk like this. I have earned the right to talk like this. And I'm not going to keep reminding you, the most technologically inept person I've ever met in my life. Only reason why I'm not.
That's
shouting-
just because he didn't go study
the only
computers.
reason why I'm not
Right,
shouting out somebody
I
else.
was finna get
Well, you
it.
know, some of us have a natural. You kind of get A and B together equals this, and but if you ever saw. I have to find one and interject it here on the video. If you ever saw a pre-picture of Ian, totally looked like computer science all day. That's why I said
I
I
had
could
the
have believed that.
glasses.
I could have believed that.
You know, I was
get
100
it.
pounds lighter. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
So, all right, so computer science.
computer science. The precursor to that is I've always been a fan of music. Growing up, my first concert was at Radio City Music Hall, and it was Bob Marley and the Wailers opening up for the Commodores.
That's a dope
It's a
first
big
concert.
first
You know what I'm
concert.
saying? So yeah, it was excellent, and then my next biggest concert was sitting fourth row from the front of the stage for the Jacksons. Stacey Lattisaw opened.
My
Stacey
first concert was
Lattisaw.
Paula Abdul.
Hey, that was
Shout out to Paula Abdul, though. I know that came off as a shot, but it wasn't a shot because we met her and she was a beautiful person and super friendly, super sweet.
Well, Paula's a
And
performer,
she,
too.
yeah,
though, so
and,
that's
she
a
did,
great
and
show.
it was a great show.
Yeah.
So I'm not throwing shots. But he just said the Jacksons and Bob Marley and the Commodores. That's what I'm just saying. But go ahead.
So you know, I was always into music. So one of the guys in my class, Arthur Brown, was playing in a local band, and one day he, you know, was opening up. They were opening up for Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, and they asked me to help them move equipment, and that night changed my life.
The stage manager, like a roadie for a night.
Well, like a roadie.
That'd be a roadie for a night.
Exactly.
Right.
And I became their roadie. After that night, I became their roadie. Helping them put equipment on the bus. But
So just seeing how all that works.
so and being behind the scenes, because at that club, it was a very popular club back in Atlanta called Mr. V's Figure Eight. Being in that club, and Sugar Ray Leonard was in the club. Now this is back in 1985. Now Sugar Ray Leonard was the Floyd Mayweather of today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
sure.
That's how super popular he was. Now, he was walking around. I got to shake this man's hands. I was like, I want to live this life. I want to live this life. Somehow I got to get in. And I started working from that point on. I dropped out of DeVry and started attending the Art Institute of Atlanta. At that time, they had a program called the Music Business Institute, and I joined. I became a part of that situation.
Do you feel school was helpful?
Yes.
So kids or young people that are going to like music school and taking these music business courses, you feel that those are helpful?
Well, wait a minute.
I'm asking.
I'm gonna ask a more specific question.
Okay.
Was it school that was beneficial, or was it the environment and the connections that came with the education itself?
Both. Absolutely. School gave me the foundation.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? The classes and everything made me think. I had a marketing and promotion class. I had a copyright class. I had all those, and then we had engineering classes. That certainly let me know that I damn sure didn't want to be an engineer.
Facts.
You know what
Facts.
I'm saying? Matter of fact, the school,
dodged a bullet dropping out of the computer classes.
Listen, I could not. I can't hear that. What did that do? And what's that frequency? What? White noise? What? I couldn't figure none of that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? And our classes was right out here at Bosstown. Not Bosstown, now Stinkonia, which was Bosstown.
Bosstown, yeah.
Before that, it was Soundscape. That's where we that's where we were, Soundscape Studios, right? So I've been in this area since the 80s.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's Midtown Atlanta for people who don't live here. 30318.
So yeah, I went to school was definitely important, but see what people didn't gather, like I still worked at doing the my behind the scenes stuff.
So you were able to take what you were learning in school and apply it.
Yes, exactly.
What do you feel about students that don't have the opportunity, where they're just learning in school, but they don't really have an opportunity to immediately apply what they're learning? They
did very well in school, but ended up a clerk at Turtles, the record store.
Yeah.
A true story.
He said Turtles.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
That was before FYE.
Jeez. Turtles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just had a moment. It was just like, wow. I forgot about Turtles.
That whole thing, absolutely. With it, these people had great grades. My grades were passable. I graduated, but I was actually in the field.
Life experience.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for balancing that for me, because I'm not saying school was a waste of time or money,
right?
But here at Icon, I found that a lot of people who went to school, they weren't what I really needed them to be. You know what I mean? Especially the ones that came out of Full Sail. Shout out to Full Sail. So this isn't a shot. That's an amazing institution. But when you came out of Full Sail, you just came out here like you was just the ish. You know what I mean? You like, yes, I want to work here. I went to Full Sail.
Right. There's a subconscious entitlement that comes with you're supposed to have it handed to you when you graduate from school,
right?
As opposed to someone who either just did it without going to school or had the combination experience like me and Ian both did. It changes your perspective, because the book stuff is one thing.
Right.
Now for me, I've always been of the ilk that go learn the book stuff, but throw all of that crap out the window as soon as you get into the real world, because most of it is either antiquated or outdated or doesn't apply.
And so this is where Ian balanced it for me, though, because he said, in the perfect thing, he said it gave me the foundation. So what you and I have been dealing with a lot in my podcast room, right? There's some individuals involved. One individual went to school, one didn't. The one that didn't, very talented, hardworking, digs in, knows what he's doing. But when it came down like the small little details, like how to bundle cable, how like the technical stuff, that actually came from the one that went to school. You know what I'm saying? So I see where school has its place, like you said, as a foundation. But school gets you started to maybe know what to do, the how to do it and then succeed. That's freaking life experience, especially in entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had Leslie on your show a few episodes ago, and he's once again the perfect example of someone who was that intern, while going to Full Sail and soaking in, learning his environment, and it's like the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? So
the funny thing about this, I don't think I've ever had y'all this close together, aside from that first episode, but we weren't having this particular conversation.
Right.
Was that the two of y'all were that for me. Because I met both of y'all when I was...
That always freaks me out when you say stuff like that sometimes.
14, 15 years old during that convention. So I was in school. I was still in high school when I met y'all. So, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And, working in studios and stuff, but, like, nobody actually worked with premier talent. like in the industry. So working on that show, producing that show, doing y'all seminars, and I don't know how much I know you probably remember how much I used to aggravate you. I had like 1,000 questions after every seminar. That was my foray into it. It was like, okay, whatever that is, I need to get to that. And that showed me that there was a pathway to it. And then I started digging for the people who were the U's in my area to figure that out. But without that, I probably would have been working at FYE, which would have been the turtles of my time.
Right.
Honestly, because it was I had the school, was getting the training, was taking studio classes, musician and all that, but didn't have the what's happening in the industry for real. And I think the thing that a lot of people miss in your situation is that they didn't have that accidental stumble into a person like this to be able to ask those questions to find out what that next thing is.
Well, it's funny you should call it accidental. Because I don't think those things are accidental.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't have the divine intervention.
There's some metaphysical laws that fall in line there.
Everybody didn't attract a Stone or an Ian when they were 14 or 15.
Keyword attract. No. But we won't go down that rabbit trail.
But these people, the students, the kids today, they don't take advantage of these situations. They really don't.
Here we go.
They do not. We come in here. They know our backgrounds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But only a handful of them.
Yeah, just a handful.
Will take the time and sit there and continuously ask questions. And I don't mind it at all. Neither does Stone. We love that type of stuff. I will sit there in the lobby of Icon Studios and talk for hours, what seems like hours, to because these people or these certain people are thirsty for that information. They want to know the stories.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but they don't take advantage of it. A lot of people, take it for granted. It's like, well, you're a manager at a studio.
Well, yeah, and a lot of it, they still have the wrong impression of what it means to be like an intern somewhere. They're just thinking about the fact that I'm in the studio. How can I make connections for myself? Well, you can make those connections, but if you don't know what you're doing, it falls short. So, All right, so you're this roadie. Oh, and if you guys want to check out that Leslie Brathwaite episode that Ian was talking about, just go back to episodes 136. It's a 2-part episode.
There's no way you knew off the top of your head. Did you pull that up?
Super insightful.
You pull that up,
I absolutely know off the top of my head.
There's no way you remember that.
So, all right, so you're this roadie, right?
Right.
Now you're in Atlanta. And you realize this is what you want to do. I got to be about that life, right? What would you consider be now your first break, your first foray? This is the beginning. This is day one of who Ian Burke is. What was that first opportunity?
Oh, wow.
Oh, was there even
first
one?
Significant? Well, first significant.
Because if I remember the story right, there's a bunch of different things happening at once.
It was a bunch of different things. First of all, there was no real scene here for us. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't. It was like, I didn't know what, so I was reaching. I was a production assistant, a PA, for videos that were being shot in New York. I would buy my own ticket, fly out to New York. I worked on the Guy Round and Round video.
Oh, so you mean you did what you had to do?
I did what
put yourself in the situation.
Absolutely.
You mean you actually paid money?
I paid money to go
money
out
that you
there.
worked for?
Absolutely.
Money that could have been spent on cars or jewelry
anything else, or food.
Weed or food.
Right.
But you was like, you know what I want to pursue is actually more important than food. So you made a
conscious decision.
Sacrifice.
Right, absolutely.
Stop subtweeting these babies. Leave these babies alone.
But you know what? You have to, because this will gloss right over some of them. I'm trying to tell you, it will gloss right over them. But go ahead.
Nah, I worked on the Guys Round and Round video. I worked on the Salt and Pepper Shake Your Thing video. And I got $50 for both videos. That didn't cover nearly my expenses, but it didn't matter. It was the experience that I wanted from it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing everything. I was trying to find my place in the business. You know what I'm saying? While I was roadieing, I worked my way up to engineer.
Really?
Lighting, yeah.
Oh, like live stuff.
Live.
Now, believe it or not, in 30 years,
You didn't know that.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. I was doing live sound, but for me it was.
So wait.
It was a simple push the volume thing
Okay. Because I'm like,
pull it back.
I'm like,
that's a little bit too loud. Pull it back.
Okay, so
I didn't mess with all of those.
yeah,
other
because the
little
way you
twisty
paint that
knobs.
picture right now, you doing a Johnny Vaughn. You over there running. Because I'm sitting there like, how do you not know how to do crap around here now? I'm like, this is like,
It was like, okay, here we go. Let me clarify.
You know that bar was about to get way back up. And I was like, okay, this fool. Oh, man, okay.
No, it was a volume thing.
It was like when I went to Russia with Chris Willis. Shout out to Chris Willis, a huge international EDM star, but I DJ'd for him in Russia. It was a playlist.
Play the iPad.
And then I faded this one in.
And then you just start
and then I
dancing.
faded that one out. And in
Do a
Russia,
few of these here and
in
there.
Russia, they love the DJ.
Yeah.
And he said that. He said, look, do what you do. So I was back there. I was like, and then, the girls looking, I was like, and they were loving it. When they were done, they came up to me. They were asking for autographs, and I felt disrespectful to Chris. I was like, "Do I see it? No. They love do you,
it
man?
up, bro.
Do you?" I was like, "But yeah, like you." I was just like, "Yeah." They was like, "Man, what were you doing in Russia?" Oh, I was a DJ. All right, so thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's what that was.
Wait, before you do that, I'm going to clarify something else, because in the industry today, there are a lot of people who have created illustrious careers by still doing that.
Oh, sure.
So
you say part of the truth, and then you allow what you already know they're going to assume.
Exactly.
You allow them to run with
and
it.
I'm pointing it out because from a realistic standpoint, now I am an actual live mix engineer.
It's like he's for real.
I am.
Like just got back in
That's
town
what
from
you
Vegas
do.
last night.
I just got back from Vegas last night. Like I've mixed some of your favorite biggest artists live. However, I have been the assistant to a button pusher. And I do get frustrated in those senses because I have to answer questions that you would think that the one or the lead would know.
Right.
But there's also something to be said for a person who's been able to build a 20+ year career out of allowing someone else to do the heavy lifting, and they just have to come in and do that.
And at the end of the day,
So-
now I call that person just smart.
And that's what I'm pointing it out to let that person know. There is a person out there that wants to do this that bad,
Right.
And they're just not. You're not going to get the. I don't care what you do. You're not going to get there. It's just not. It's not going to happen for all of y'all.
I agree.
But you may be able to, for lack of a better term, finesse your way into a spot to where your particular skill set, it may not be on a level to be able to mix at Aria or mix at Park MGM. But you may be able to push the faders at Dre's. That might be a thing.
But it gets you in the door, though.
And you're in the door. And button pusher DJs make $15,000 a night in Vegas.
You see that? You see the Instagram post of the
putting that
DJ,
out
and the
there.
guy he thought something was up, so he went behind, and there was no equipment
Nothing.
behind the wall. Nothing. He was just.
It's a real deal. So
All
I
right,
didn't mean
so
to stop you.
you're- no, yeah.
I
No,
just
it's
wanted
all
to
good.
because
It's
I think you being honest with that being a thing catapulted you into that point to where your actual skill set.
Well, yeah. My actual skill set actually kicked in. You know what I'm saying? It's like I started to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But I was everything from, like I said, a light tech person for the bands. I went up to booking the band to finally managing the band. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And,
Well, all right. Let's not gloss over it again. So, how did that happen? Like, what is it about you that made the band want you to manage them?
it was they started seeing me take more of a leadership role. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, talk to Ian. We just, you know what I'm saying? Well, talk to Ian. He'll set that up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it was
I'm just wondering what it
manager, assistant.
Yeah,
maybe,
but I'm
type of
wondering
thing.
what is it that they saw in you to even refer people?
What these shots have been?
No,
left.
these aren't shots.
Right.
These are nuggets that I don't want them to miss.
Okay.
No, understand. No, it's a good question. It's a fair question.
Yeah.
You had.
Oh, I see why you're calling them shots. See, no, that's because you know us personally, but
Right.
they don't. So yeah, no, that one.
I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah.
a little behind the veil.
Yeah. You looking all up under the skirt and everything.
I'm seeing jabs.
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
like
no,
they
I
need
see-
to know,
I-
like,
I
how do you
see.
go from roadie to all of a sudden the band telling people to go to you to handle business?
It's being assertive, and they knew that I was assertive in meetings. I was like, okay, well, we need to do this. This is what our next move needs to be. And I was taking my foundation from school, said, hey, have we copyrighted these songs? Because they were recording records,
And-
not knowing about copyright. It's like, yeah, we need to copyright this song. So I copywrote a few of the band's songs myself,
you go.
filling out
That's
and
what's
everything
up.
like that. So I took a more assertive role within the bands that I worked with.
My question is, because I mean, obviously, there's a part of this where you stumble into what your thing is and what you're doing, but you also hit that point where it's like, like I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, all the time.
At what point did the learning curve hit where you're like, okay, I got this easy part down, but now you're spinning the wheels trying to stay ahead of it when you become the manager.
That came much later. Much later, because like I said, these situations were just local situations.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved at my pace. You know what I'm saying?
True.
That the learning curve came in when I started managing Organized Noize.
Okay.
That's when, because their rise was meteoric. You know what I'm saying? And I had to run to catch up with them. Not only that, Rico was like,
That looked like all kinds of things. I'm sorry.
Rico was like, okay, well, you're also gonna manage Outkast, and I'm just like, oh, great, and I just found myself, my ignorance in the things that I was doing. I really found out that
naked outside.
Yeah, exactly, because they were the people were throwing deals out, and I didn't know how to negotiate. I was dealing with L.I.F.E, which was the juggernaut.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they threw it, and I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna sign this deal. Let's get the lawyer. Look out. There was no negotiation. It was like, okay, whatever you say, Mr. Face, Mr. Reed,
Mr. Face.
Mr. Face. We're gonna get this deal. There was no real like, I wasn't that real.
Now let's say you saw some people in that situation today. Mm-hmm. Would you advise they do the whole fake it till you make it thing too, or would you advise differently? Like, do you feel the way, I know you felt like you did what you had to do,
right?
But is this something that you would advise someone to do?
No, I absolutely not. I would always advise somebody to align themselves with someone who knows what they're doing.
Boom! Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't, and that was the thing. Like, I didn't have that though.
Right.
Like I said, the business was all new. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I never had, that's the one thing that I never had, was a real mentor.
You and I both. Yep.
I've said that on here. Me either.
Yeah.
Which is why I tried to attach myself to you as fast as I could, because I knew how important it was. Richard Branson is one of my favorite billionaires, philanthropists in the whole world. And he always makes that statement. He says that if you don't know how to do something and someone offers it to you, say yes, learn how to do it later. So obviously you followed that model.
Absolutely.
But that second part is the part that he never talks about. He never says it, because the main part is the
Aligning yourself?
Yeah, he never talks about that part, because that's not the clickbait. That's not the one that sounds super good.
Right.
At some point, you got through that mud. You got through those waters. At the time,
not without great sacrifice.
No,
though.
absolutely. But I mean, at the time, L.A. and Babyface probably would have been the people to align yourself with to learn all that stuff. Who was left, or who was there for you to pull stuff from to get yourself up to speed?
Listen, I just learned as I went. They presented great opportunities for me. You know what I'm saying? One of my greatest experiences was sitting in the studio with L.A. Reid, Babyface, and Daryl Simmons, and KO while they were producing Love Should Have Brought Me Home last night. Mm. And no, I will give you my heart, and I'll always be good to you. That first single, first
Boomerang?
Off of Boomerang. And I
was it by Tony?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, Tony Braxton off of the movie soundtrack.
Yeah,
Boomerang.
because
y'all Give You My Heart.
Give You My
Yeah,
Heart.
Give You My Heart. Yeah.
I had to look it up.
So the funny thing about it was I just remember sitting there, and it was I was there with Sleepy at that time. I was working with Pebbles, and I was driving Sleepy around, Sleepy Brown, because Sleepy was her producer, and Sleepy was teasing me. We were at Doppler. Mm-hmm. And he came in and said, man, you want to come in the studio, don't you? I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. He said, so L.A. happened to walk into the break room and said, man, Ian want to come in the studio. And I just felt so stupid. L.A. was like, yo, come on. L.A. was very inviting and was like, yo, come on in. You could come in with us. So I went in the studio. They're in there writing this masterpiece. And I remember Daryl Simmons singing the hook at the top of his lungs. And I was just sitting there going, oh, my God, I'm in here with L.A. Reid and Babyface. And they're creating. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those incredible moments for me in the business, and it's something that I will always carry with me moving forward. But, yeah, like, I would learn different things from different people, and it's funny. I always say this is from the movie Robots. I don't know if you've ever seen the animated
Robot,
movie.
Yeah.
There was a saying in that movie was like, see a need, fill a need, and I always see that. I always
say that again.
See a need, fill a need.
Wow. Honestly, that's literally how you become successful in business.
Exactly.
Just find a need and meet it,
And
better than anyone else can.
And that's what that describes my business acumen.
All right, so you pick up all of this stuff from all of these people, which is obviously the best way to learn. I've already said that. Going to school is one thing, but when you get to sit in rooms with titans and you get to just pick up nuggets, sometimes that nugget can outweigh 2, 3, 10 years of school.
Life changing.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I've always lived my life by the best way to learn is from somebody else's mistakes, and the guys who've paved that way and made all the mistakes, the way they're doing it is the right way, in my eyes. So you've got these nuggets. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Before you started getting them, you went to your concert. You got to be a roadie. You made it to being a stage manager and an actual band manager before you land with Organized Noize. There's a gap in there where those nuggets aren't there. You literally, it's intuition.
Right.
It's instinct. Everything you're doing there. But at some point, that instinct starts to pull you towards Organized Noize. Fill in that gap for us.
Let me fill up the gap, because actually sometimes in order to move forward, you have to go back. You understand? So I had worked my way up to the manager of a local band, but there was a signed band out there, a band that was signed to MCA Records that were local, but they were signed. And I was like, I got to get with this band.
What band was that?
First of all,
Okay.
First of all, their lead singer, bass player was fly as heck, and I was infatuated with her. You know what I'm saying? You still don't know?
Yes, I didn't know that was that early.
Yes.
You were with them that long?
Yes.
Wow.
I gotta just sit here and just keep me in the dark like this because I don't know.
And I literally stalked this band. I'll bring you up to speed. I stalked this band. I was trying to find where they were playing. And
So they had a deal before.
Yeah, they were signed to MCA Records.
Did not know that
Well, that's
either.
how I found out about it. The local radio station was playing.
Johnny, we gonna bring you in. We gonna bring you in. Again, I've known you 12 years, 15 years,
16,
30 years.
I know.
So there's some history before Johnny came in the picture.
Again, here's why I took the pause at the intro of the episode.
We get it.
Yeah, we did get it. But the radio station was playing their single, "It's Gonna Be Lonely," the Prince cover, and he's gonna look at us.
For y'all that are listening right now, Johnny's googling it right now.
And
Let's go ahead and drop the name on it.
No, just carry on.
no, he's gonna figure it out. Well, he's got to look and see how many people redid that record.
Right.
Oh my God. I give up. It's for read? No.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah, that's
All right, so we'll let you reveal the name.
Tell the story. I'm good. I feel good now.
So, I stalked this band. Finally, I found they were playing at this place off of Moreland Avenue called Montrez. And
Montrez.
yeah, it's a little hood club. Because back then, the club thing. No, not the strip club.
Okay.
Not the. No, you know what? You know what?
Montrez.
No, not Montrez.
Oh my God.
Not the strip.
I was like,
I can't
Montrez?
remember. It was an M. The club started with an M, and it was off of
Yeah,
Moreland
Montrez,
Avenue.
that's where if you had cigarette burns, that's where you went to go dance. Man.
No, not Montrez. My bad. I'm
Okay.
sorry. So
Not that I heard that.
yeah, you heard that, right? Yeah, you didn't see that for yourself.
I heard that.
Yeah, right.
But go ahead.
So I went in, and the manager of the band, Carol Killings, and I knew that from that's another thing with me, and I want to point it out because this is what really helped me move ahead too. Ever since I was a kid, I was really into reading credits on album covers.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see
you're
who
a
wrote
freaking
it,
encyclopedia where that stuff's
produced it,
concerned.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, in reading the credits for this album, the band was Princess and Starbreeze, by the way, Deborah Killings and her band. In reading, I found out that Carol Killings was the manager, so I went in there looking for Carol Killings, which was with her mom. And, I guess I gave her that stalker vibe because she was like, okay, I'm not letting you nowhere near my daughter or her brother. You can speak to the drummer, which was this big guy named William Burke.
That
Oh.
William Burke?
Yeah.
Y'all get to hit it off then.
Crossover William Burke?
Yeah, you probably
Get
should.
out of here.
Yeah.
Wow, the connections are just crazy right now.
William
This
Burke.
is
Well,
nuts.
William and Tony were good
Yeah.
friends, before Tony passed.
Wow.
But yeah, so William came in and had a conversation with me, and then Dallas, and then again, now I was a manager of this other local band, but now I was back to being a roadie. Because I was saying, you guys are signed. You guys should not be moving your own equipment. I'm going to put together a team of people, which included Kim Burse.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah,
All right, so
Kim-
can I just say this? I already know, because we have obviously a lot of people who aren't our generation.
Right.
Listening to this podcast. What I need you guys to do is when these names come up, just pause it and Google the names. So you'll understand the people with, I don't want these people to just come off as names as you. These are people that have done significant things in music and Atlanta music, or Atlanta music business. So when he's saying like Kim Burse, for example, like Princess and Starbreeze, Deborah Killings. When you read Deborah Killings credits, you're gonna be like, holy crap. So I just want to make sure they don't.
No, absolutely.
They understand these names are significant.
Let me go on to explain about Kim Burse. The reason why she's so important is because now you look up Kim Burse. Kim Burse was the creative director for Beyonce when she did her solo stuff. She's now the creative director for all the J-Lo stuff that you see, including the Super Bowl performance. If you watch, J-Lo's Netflix, I think it's on Netflix documentary. Kim Burse is featured in that documentary.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
But she also went to the Art Institute, studied in the same program, and I drafted her along to work with me as a roadie for the band Princess and Starbreeze.
And so the two things that you said that you walked out, you walked the talk. That was one, you had to, sometimes to move forward, you have to take a step back. So Princess and Starbreeze presented a bigger and better situation.
Right.
But you had to, quote unquote, regress back to being a roadie. In order to get on that ship.
Absolutely.
And then you said, see a need, fill a need.
Right.
You're like, look, you guys shouldn't be carrying your own equipment. I'm going to make that happen for you. I'm going to put a team together for you. They didn't have to think about that anymore.
At all.
Magic, man.
At
Freaking
all.
magic right there.
And what I did, there were things like, in watching MTV, all the acts had their names on their equipment, on their cases, their carrying cases. I went out and got a stencil. I did it. Princess and Starbreeze.
Let me ask him to do that now for some icon stuff. He don't know what the. You're actually this interview is actually hurting you. It's actually hurting you right now because I realize you're actually more capable than you put off.
But you have to understand, he's earned the right to not have to do it.
Well,
Thank you.
for me to say what I want to say right now, there's no way to say it in any good light, so I'm not going to say it. But Ian already knows probably what I want to say. That's a hell no. And then this is now I know what the frick you can do. I'm not accepting excuses anymore.
I gotta point something out too, because it's with the whole taking two steps back thing. It's a perspective thing too, because in a bunch of those situations, you didn't go back to being the roadie of another local band.
No,
It's not what you did.
No.
So what a lot of people overlook, and I've had this happen with people who are on my team, and people have asked me, why would I take a position with somebody if it's not what I do? If I got a phone call, say Silk Sonic decides to go on tour, or Usher goes on tour, they leave the residencies and they go out, and somebody says, hey, do you want to come and coordinate wireless for Usher? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
The question's absolutely.
Right.
Is that two steps back? If I was going to do it for a local band, absolutely, be 4 or 5 steps back. But sometimes that 2 steps back to do something you've already done for a bigger opportunity is actually 5 steps forward, because now you're in bigger rooms.
Right. Yeah.
You're with people who have those nuggets that you're looking for. And I'm seeing more, you're talking about the kids today and how they overlook the opportunity and don't maximize it. A lot of what I'm seeing now is they look at it as being 2 steps back. Well, I already did that, so I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm hearing a lot of engineers telling me, oh, I'm a mastering engineer now, I'm not a mixer. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
you don't have 10 records that's out that you mixed. How are you a mastering engineer now?
Yeah.
Go master for the local dude. And that's cool, or mix for the local dude. Don't jump to just doing this for everybody.
Right.
And
So I wanted
they're
to point
mastering at home on their little cheap software, and there's
software.
the little speakers. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like-
what I get when these engineers come. So as soon as they cross that thing into mix engineers,
Yeah.
suddenly coming to them with a tracking job. Ooh, I'm a mix engineer now. I don't track.
Now,
and
you
it's like,
can say that if you're Leslie.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can say that
But-
if you're on that level.
because chances are the opportunity that you can bring to them where you have to be a tracking engineer, chances are Leslie's, I've already worked with them. Right? But for most, they won't take the tracking gig. Now, until maybe you say who it is or whatever. So, but daggone it, you set a point. And I was doing my best to try to remember that point.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
okay.
good. You're good. It's,
The only point I was trying to make was the fact that sometimes a job that you've done that would be 2 steps back or lateral is actually propelling you light years ahead if you take it for a bigger opportunity.
Absolutely. It's all day.
And that's what people need to understand. That's what I mean by, you have to take that step back. You know what I'm saying? Like, even bringing it all the way to me working here. You know, I've had people say, man, you take out the garbage?
That's what it was. Icon.
That's
What it was.
You want to say the point?
being here at Icon is what the 2-step back thing is. So Ian has earned his after all that throughout the years. He didn't earn his stripes.
We haven't even gone through everything.
We
yet.
haven't, which
Yes.
we're about to. But that's what your point is. Like he doesn't have to know all this stuff now. He's da 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 da. And you were just about to say, "Oh, you take out the garbage," and I have people ask me that all the time. I'm still picking up the parking lot. Like when we built this place, right? I was hammering, I was sawing, I was gluing up. Yeah, it's my baby, but I never want to lose knowing how to slide the fader or push the button. I never want to lose having the ingenuity and the assertiveness to go get the stencil and put the name on a thing. Like I never want to lose that because every step every level is a new level. So every level you go up, you're on the first level of that level. You're the come up kid every time you reach a new level. So I personally never want to lose those skills or never want to lose that hunger on knowing how to do what people will call the menial things or the little things. And like I said, you got to the point where you were literally a boss for years. So then you had assistants and stuff, everyone coming to you. So you tend to lose. Here's the thing. And this is the point I want to drive home. It's not that you lost knowing how to do them, but it was your drive and hunger to make it that forced you to learn how to do something.
Right.
And when you lose that drive and that hunger, it's amazing the things all of a sudden you don't know how to do anymore. So for a lot of you guys that are coming up, it's not don't get so hung up on, well, I don't really know how to do social media. I don't know. I just showed you my website, right? And you're like, oh, it looks nice. And if Johnny says it looks nice, like honestly, no cap. If Johnny says it looks nice, it's something because he's super critical. And my brother was like, you did this yourself? And I was like, yeah. Like whenever I do something.
Wait a minute, you didn't tell me that part. You did it yourself?
No, I built it myself.
you didn't know that?
StoneStaffer.com.
No, he built that himself.
StoneStaffer.com.
Okay, so I mean, no BS. That actually elevates it more than even what I said. Because when I said, I was like, yo, like eye lines, the way it flows, like it follows.
Well,
the
you did
primary
say something
rules
about
of
the
it.
fonts, though.
You did say something about the fonts.
That should have gave it away. But no, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
And again, and I don't want to gloss over that. When you take that initiative, when your personal ingenuity pushes you to doing something that is normally outside of your
Wheelhouse.
purview, when you outkick your coverage, people go notice. Like I literally it was half joking, but I mean some of the fonts were they're just slightly off.
I
But
believe
again,
it.
my eye catches that
I
stuff.
believe it.
But I didn't know you did it. I was going to just say, hey man, take this note back to your guy and
Right.
have him tweak. But knowing that
But
you
when we're
did
done,
it,
I want you to point it out so I can fix it.
but knowing that you did it, you're not a web developer, and that's the thing that people don't understand. Is that sometimes
Who does that sound like? We're not short on ideas, Stone. Look, I understand this is not what you do. It's not your lane.
I'm not gonna say the name, but
Right, we're not going to say
Well,
it.
now I want to know
I'm
who
going
it
to have to
is.
tell you
No,
off
we
camera.
gonna talk
I'm going to tell you
off
off camera on that. But my point being, and just so y'all know, like it annoys me when you come up to me and say, yeah, I don't really be on social media like that. I don't really know how to post like that. I don't really know, how do I find that out? When you be coming
Man,
at me like,
YouTube University
it's
got
like the
10-minute
biggest
videos,
turnoff to me because to me, I'm not tripping on your lack of knowledge. I'm not tripping on that. That's everybody.
Drive.
I'm tripping on your lack of initiative and drive to seek that knowledge out and to find out how to do it yourself. That's what this man is showing that he had. Like that's how you got started. That's how people recognized and paid attention to Ian Burke.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't have happened no other way. But again, I'll go and say this generation that's coming up now they're lazy. There are
I be saying that
entitled.
he be trying to caveat like, yeah, Stone, but
There
da-da-da-da.
are caveats to it, and there's an overarching acceptance to it, though. But I also there's an explanation for it too. Our technology and our ease of things.
Exactly.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you did not have YouTube
I
University.
did not.
You couldn't go learn something in 30 minutes.
If I had to let you know something now, I had to get on the bus, walk, or get in the car,
Right.
and
Go to
get it
library.
to you. Yep.
Yes.
And see, I saw a clip on Instagram where these kids saw a house phone.
House
for
phone.
the
I
first
just watched the same one. The girls.
Yeah, the two girls.
They're like, wow.
It's like, oh my God.
It went through.
Can you imagine that?
Yes, I can.
I could not. I can't even fathom that because I grew up in a one phone household. You know, with a rotary,
100-foot cord.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and there was no call waiting. You could not make a call to a person until they got off until they hung up.
But this
My son had that experience with the computer we were talking about when I had to let him use it during the pandemic for his at home, and he was doing this.
Yeah,
He's
it
like,
wouldn't-
"Dad, your computer's broken." It's like it's not a
not touch screen.
touch screen.
Right.
So back to what I was saying.